Hi, and welcome to another episode of my Devlog series. So in the previous video, I already teased what I'm currently working on, which are the season changes, the visual season changes. So if I now go ahead and leave the house, you can see that currently the player is in spring in the top left corner. If I go and leave the house, we can see that we have at first different types of trees. So I have a fir tree and maple tree. And one special thing to note is the maple trees themselves have different looks. So I have this basic round tree, I have the round tree with a little bit of darker green. I then have this, let's say, a little bit smaller maple tree. And then I also have a very big and round maple tree, which is the one down here, which is not good to see in this basic scene because it's overlapping with other trees. But when you play the game, you will notice it at first glance. So obviously this is how spring is going to look like. And I can now go ahead and I can switch the season. And this is what summer looks like. And you now have the real comparison, like you just saw spring, now you see summer, and there's only a slight change in the color. So the green is a little bit brighter, and also like the same goes for the ground tiles and the trees. The tree types stay completely the same, and it's just a little bit more, as I just said, brighter in summer. So now I can go ahead and I can switch to fall or autumn. And this is the autumn in the current state of the game. I'm not quite satisfied yet with the orange. I think I need to turn it, like I make it a little bit darker. I think it's a little bit too much, but for the first version it's fine. And you already notice a big difference compared to spring and to summer, which is the color and the tree types themselves. So we basically have the fir trees stayed the same. We have a very dark orange color for this type of maple tree. This maple tree is still undergoing the process basically, so a little bit of green in the bottom, and in the top he is very like fall or autumn like with the orange type. The longer maple trees, they have a little bit more of the yellow touch, and we also have these trees that don't have any leaves at all anymore, because some trees, well, in fall they already don't have necessarily leaves. So now let's go ahead and let's switch to the winter. And this is the winter in my game, and I really like the winter scenery. Obviously it's completely white, but still, I mean, that's winter, right? So first of all, maybe you have noticed the flowers are gone. Obviously in winter there are not necessarily a lot of flowers. The main difference now is that the trees, especially the fir trees, have some snow on them, and most of the trees don't have any leaves anymore, but they do have a little bit of snow on the branches, so it's a quite neat detail. And I did do something a little bit more different. For the smaller maple trees, I figured that it might be nice to just add, let's say, white leaves. So basically they are completely covered with snow. Obviously that's not something that will happen in real life, but I think that this gives it a little bit of a special touch. And I do think that it turned out quite well. So after implementing the season change, I realized I'm still missing one core feature or one thing to update. The player is able to dig up the grass tiles, or in this case the winter and snow tiles, in order to create a space where he can plant crops. And after I dig up the tiles, well, as you can see, they still have grass surrounding them, and obviously this doesn't look too good when we have, for example, the winter season, or let's say the fall season. So this was something that I still or additionally have to change. At the point where I implemented these type of farmable tiles, I had no idea that rule tiles would exist, so I created my own thing. And these are the sprites that I'm using, and this is the code that I'm using. Basically, the code consists out of multiple methods that themselves are just large if and else statements. They basically check their neighbor tiles if they are, for example, watered or not watered, and then I display a certain image and give it a certain type of rotation. And it is quite a huge class. It, as I said, consists out of a lot of if and else statements, so I didn't really want to touch it, but I had no choice, so it was time to do some magic.
I'm gonna have to go into hardcore hacking mode.
To my surprise, it only took me about 2.5 hours to fix the problem. So I can now dig up the dirt tiles. Depending on the season, it shows the corresponding tiles, which is amazing. So now they are white. If I would be in summer or spring, they would be green, and in fall or autumn, whichever you prefer, it would be kind of orange. And I can also go ahead and I can water them, and you can see they already changed. So everything is working as intended and as I expected and wanted it to work. And I think that's a good place to make a cut in the current devlog. So that's everything that I wanted to show in today's video, the basic seasonal changes. I hope you liked it. If you did, please consider hitting the like button and maybe subscribe. It would help me a lot. And in the next video, I will probably be showcasing a wind and hopefully a weather system. So stay safe, have a good one, and see you next time. Bye bye.